I'll never forget the time I visited that old abandoned school. It was a place where laughter and learning once echoed through the halls, but now it stood in eerie silence. My friends and I decided to explore it one night, thinking it would be a fun adventure. We brought flashlights and nerves of steel, or so we thought. As we entered the building, a chill ran down my spine. The air felt heavy, and the dim light from our flashlights cast eerie shadows on the walls. We made our way down the hallway, our footsteps echoing in the stillness. Suddenly, we heard the faint sound of laughter, distant but unmistakable. We exchanged nervous glances, wondering if it was just our imagination. The laughter grew louder as we ventured deeper into the school. It was the kind of laughter that sent shivers down your spine, a mix of joy and malevolence that didn't belong in this abandoned place. Our flashlights flickered, and strange whispers seemed to dance on the edge of our hearing. I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched, that something unseen was lurking in the shadows. We reached the gymnasium, and that's when things took a truly terrifying turn. The basketball hoops swayed on their own, and the old wooden bleachers creaked as if someone was sitting on them. The laughter crescendoed, filling the air around us. My heart raced, and I could barely catch my breath. I turned to my friends, and their faces were pale with fear. We decided to leave, but as we retraced our steps, the hallway seemed to stretch endlessly before us. Panic set in as we realized we were trapped, caught in some kind of nightmarish loop. The laughter grew louder and more menacing, echoing in our ears until it was all-consuming. I felt a presence right behind me, a cold breath on the back of my neck, and I couldn't bring myself to turn around and face whatever it was. Finally, we stumbled upon an old classroom. Desperation took over, and we barricaded ourselves inside, huddling together in the corner. The laughter surrounded us, a cacophony of voices from another time. We clung to each other, praying for dawn to break the spell that held us captive. When morning finally came, the laughter faded, and we cautiously emerged from the classroom. The school appeared unchanged, as if nothing had happened. But the memory of that haunted night would forever haunt our dreams, a reminder that some places hold secrets that are better left undisturbed. One cold autumn evening, I found myself wandering near the old abandoned school at the edge of town. The wind whispered eerie melodies through the empty corridors, as if the walls themselves held secrets of the past. Despite the unsettling atmosphere, my curiosity got the best of me, and I ventured inside. The air inside was thick with an unsettling silence, broken only by the creaking of floorboards beneath my feet. As I explored the decaying classrooms, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. Suddenly, a distant echo of children's laughter echoed through the halls, sending shivers down my spine. In one room, I stumbled upon an old yearbook. The pages were yellowed with age, but the faces staring back at me seemed hauntingly alive. Among the students, I noticed a girl named Emily who had disappeared mysteriously decades ago. Her eyes bore into mine from the faded photograph, and an icy gust of wind seemed to brush against my skin. I continued my exploration, my heart pounding with a mixture of fear and curiosity. The deeper I delved, the more I began to feel a sense of unease, as if the walls were closing in around me. Flickering lights cast eerie shadows on the walls, and strange whispers echoed through the corridors. As I made my way to the basement, I discovered a hidden door that led to a forgotten chamber. Inside, I found a collection of worn-out toys and tattered books, as if they had been left behind by the passage of time. Suddenly, the temperature dropped drastically, and a spectral figure appeared before me. It was Emily. Her translucent form glowed with an otherworldly light, and her eyes held a mixture of sadness and longing. She reached out towards me, her voice a mere whisper, "Help me find my way home." Terrified yet compelled, I nodded, vowing to uncover the truth behind her disappearance. Over the following weeks, I delved into the history of the school, uncovering a dark tale of a tragedy that had befallen Emily. As I pieced together the puzzle, strange occurrences plagued my days and nights. Objects moved on their own, chilling voices echoed through my dreams, and the feeling of being watched never ceased. With each step towards the truth, the hauntings intensified. I uncovered that Emily had been wronged, her fate tied to a malevolent spirit seeking revenge. Armed with my newfound knowledge, I confronted the vengeful entity, facing a nightmarish battle between the living and the supernatural. In the end, with the help of ancient rituals and an unwavering resolve, I managed to free Emily's spirit from the clutches of the malevolent force. As the school's darkness began to lift, the spectral occurrences ceased, and a sense of peace settled upon the abandoned halls. Though the horrors I witnessed would forever be etched in my memory, I couldn't help but feel a sense of closure and triumph. The haunted school had finally found its peace, and Emily's spirit could rest at last, leaving behind a story that would be whispered by generations to come. I remember the time I ventured into the abandoned Briarwood School late one eerie evening. The wind whispered through the broken windows, and the moonlight cast eerie shadows down the dimly lit corridors. As I walked, the sound of distant laughter and faint footsteps echoed around me, despite knowing I was alone. A sudden chill ran down my spine as I reached the old classroom on the top floor. Inside, I found a dusty chalkboard with the words, "Never leave," written in uneven letters. Goosebumps prickled my skin as I felt an unsettling presence behind me, but every time I turned, there was nothing there. The air grew colder, and the room seemed to close in on me. In the corner, a tattered textbook lay open, its pages filled with sketches of pale, faceless children. I decided to leave the room, but the door wouldn't budge. Panic surged as I heard faint whispers growing louder, like a symphony of eerie voices. With all my strength, I managed to force the door open and fled down the corridor, feeling as if unseen hands were reaching out for me. But no matter how fast I ran, the hallway seemed to stretch endlessly. Finally, I stumbled into the school's auditorium, where a haunting sight awaited me. A spectral teacher stood at the podium, her hollow eyes fixed on me. The air was heavy with sorrow, and I could almost hear her voice as she whispered tales of tragedy and despair. The ghosts of students filled the seats, their sorrowful eyes locked onto me. In a burst of courage, I shouted, "Why are you here?" The room fell silent, and the teacher's gaze pierced through me. "We were forgotten," she whispered, her voice carrying the weight of 100 lost souls. Suddenly, the room shook, and the specters faded away, leaving me alone once more. As I fled the school, the atmosphere shifted, and the building seemed to exhale a deep sigh. Looking back, I saw the words, "Remember us," etched into the crumbling facade. The experience left me shaken, haunted by the tragic stories of the school's past inhabitants. To this day, I can't help but wonder if the spirits still linger, hoping to find solace in the memories of the living. If you enjoy listening to scary horror content just like this, then hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you are updated on when I post a new video.